A new dawn was always going to come with disruption at Ibrox, but no one quite expected things to escalate this quickly. Barely a few days into the new season, Russell Martin has made it crystal clear that change isn't just coming, it's already underway. The message from the manager, ruthless, simple. Either meet the new standards or you're out. And we're not talking about fringe players or youth prospects. Martin's no-nonsense approach has already cast doubt over some major names in the Rangers squad. Players who just a few months ago seemed integral to the club's ambitions. Now, with the pressure of a poor league start weighing heavy, everything is on the table, including departures that would have seemed unthinkable not long ago. But before we dive into the growing unrest behind the scenes, let's start with some brighter news. Rangers' newest signing, Finnish winger Oliver Antman, is locked in and ready for his debut. The £3 million signing from Dutch side Go Ahead Eagles is eager to make his first appearance in front of a packed Ibrox. And if everything goes to plan with his registration, that debut could come tonight in the all-important Champions League qualifier against Victoria Plzen. Antman's arrival marks the 9th addition to Martin's summer rebuild, and by the sounds of it, he's hit the ground running. The 23-year-old has already completed a full preseason with his former club, including 5 friendlies and a full 90-minute run-out. In his own words, he's fit firing and excited to be part of something special. Speaking to Rangers, TV Antman couldn't hide his excitement about joining what he described as a massive club, one of those rare opportunities a player dreams about. He admitted the last few days had been hectic and overwhelming, but now he's ready to settle and show what he can bring. One interesting side note, Antman previously played in Denmark with Mohamed Diomande, who is now also at Rangers. And yes, before signing, he picked up the phone and asked his former teammate a simple question: should I come? According to Antman, the response was all positive. That reassurance plus the vision presented by Martin was enough to convince him that Glasgow was the right move, and it couldn't come at a more critical time. Because while the club celebrates its latest signing, there's trouble brewing just beneath the surface. Rangers stumbled out of the gates on opening day with a disappointing 1-1 draw against Motherwell at Fir Park, a frustrating result that marked the 3rd straight season the team failed to win their Scottish Premiership opener. And while James Tavernier's first-half header provided a brief lift, a late equalizer from Emmanuel Longelo left fans fuming and Martin visibly deflated on the touchline. Post-match, the new boss didn't hold back. In 2 separate interviews, he made it clear that what he saw on the pitch wasn't acceptable. Not for Rangers not under his leadership, and certainly not for a team aiming to dethrone Celtic this season. He slammed the performance as lucky, criticized the squad for being outfought, or made it clear that players who don't buy into his vision would be left behind. It was less of a warning, more of a declaration. And within that storm of criticism, one name has emerged as the first possible casualty of Martin's reign: Nico Raskin. The Belgian midfielder started the match but never found his rhythm. His stats were damning: only 1 chance created, no shots on target from 3 attempts, and he was second best in almost every physical duel. He won just 1 out of 3 tackles and was completely ineffective in the air, losing all of his aerial challenges. It wasn't just an off day. It was the kind of performance that raised serious questions about his place in Martin's new-look side. And let's be honest, this didn't come out of nowhere. Back in June, reports surfaced suggesting Rangers would be open to selling Raskin if an offer of around £20 million came in. At the time, it felt more like speculation than substance. But after Sunday's showing and Martin's brutally honest post-match comments, that speculation has turned into a very real possibility. The truth is, Raskin is a talented player. There's no denying that. Last season, he chipped in with goals, assists, and moments of real quality. But talent alone won't cut it anymore, not under Martin. The new boss is clearly prioritizing mentality fight and a commitment to his style of play. And if Raskin doesn't fit that mold, his time at Ibrox could be coming to an end. The implications of a potential exit are huge. Losing Raskin would leave a creative hole in midfield, one that won't be easy to fill mid-season. But Martin seems unfazed. His focus appears to be on building a squad that reflects his values: physically strong, mentally sharp, and totally committed to the cause. No passengers, no egos, just players willing to bleed for the badge. That's the standard now. And anyone who doesn't meet it, well, they might be the next name out the door. And if you think that's where the shakeup ends, think again. Rumors are intensifying around another likely exit, Turkish fullback Rıdvan Yilmaz. Once considered a promising signing from Beşiktaş back in 2022, Yilmaz now finds himself training away from the first team. That alone speaks volumes. Alongside players like Ben Davies, Leon King, and Jose Cifuentes, Yilmaz has been frozen out of the main group. A pretty clear message that his days at the club are numbered. Reports from Turkey suggest a deal is already in place for Yilmaz to return to Beşiktaş, with the club's president even confirming that negotiations are at an advanced stage. It's a full circle moment for a player who arrived in Glasgow with big expectations but never quite found his place. To be fair, Yilmaz did have moments where his technical quality stood out, like that solid showing against Celtic back in January. But consistency was always the problem. Injuries didn't help, but even when fit, he struggled to string together meaningful performances, with Jeff Day already locking down the left-back spot this summer and Max Aarons taking charge on the right. Yilmaz simply doesn't fit the new tactical puzzle. His departure, while disappointing, could also bring clarity. By offloading him, the club opens up space for a more physically dominant left-back to balance Aarons on the other side, allowing the former Bournemouth man to return to his natural position. Internally, there's even talk that James Tavernier could shift permanently into a centre-back role, something that's been hinted at for a while now. Yilmaz, despite showing glimpses of potential, never lived up to the hype. In total, he made 74 appearances over 3 seasons, scoring just twice. Not terrible numbers, but far from what was expected when he signed. A return to Beşiktaş, where he's comfortable and has the backing of the fans, feels like the right move for everyone involved. And again, just like with Raskin, this is another clear example of Martin making bold decisions. No sentimentality, no second chances. If you're not part of the future, you're out. That's the new Rangers. That's the new standard. Meanwhile, with tonight's Champions League tie looming large, the pressure is already beginning to boil. The draw against Motherwell has turned up the heat, and fans are demanding a reaction. Ibrox will be packed, the atmosphere electric, and anything less than a dominant performance could spark early unrest. Russell Martin knows this. His players know this. Now it's time to see who's truly ready for the challenge, and who might be heading for the exit next. And if the message still wasn't clear enough, just listen to how Russell Martin has been handling things behind closed doors. This isn't a manager trying to ease into the job quietly or buy himself time with gentle tweaks. No, Martin is coming in with a scalpel, cutting deep where he needs to, even if it means losing familiar faces. The mentality shift is undeniable. From day one, he's been speaking about identity, work rate, and accountability. He's not building a team to compete quietly. He's trying to tear down years of inconsistency and replace it with something sustainable, something harder, something that can finally close the gap to Celtic and restore Rangers to the top. And it's not just about the players leaving, it's about what their exits represent. When someone like Raskin, who was once considered untouchable, is suddenly on the chopping block, it sends a message to everyone else in the dressing room. There are no favorites. There are no guaranteed minutes. You earn your place now. You fight for the shirt. And if you don't, someone else will. That culture shift, as brutal as it may seem, is exactly what many fans have been crying out for. The complacency that has crept in over the past couple of seasons has cost the club dearly. Dropped points in winnable games, lack of intensity in big moments, and a team that often felt like it was playing within itself. Martin wants to rip that mindset out from the roots. And yes, it's risky, because the squad he's inherited isn't a blank canvas. There are players with big contracts, reputations, and expectations. Stripping that down, rebuilding that group takes more than just tactical ideas. It takes guts. And so far, Martin's not shying away from the challenge. The summer window has already shown intent. 9 signings and counting each brought in with a specific purpose. Not just to plug holes, but to fit into a system, to build an identity, and maybe more importantly, to bring in the right mentality. Players who arrive hungry, players who aren't afraid of pressure, players who want to grow, not just cash in a check at a big club. That's why Antman's arrival is so interesting. He's not a marquee name. He's not coming in with massive expectations on his back, but he's been brought in because he fits, because he's hungry, because he's coming off a strong preseason and is physically ready to slot straight in. That sort of profile is becoming a theme under Martin. Even Jeff Day, who's already started making the left back role, his own came in without much noise, but with the right blend of athleticism and attitude to match what Martin wants. And it's no coincidence that the ones being pushed out are those who've struggled to match that physical and mental intensity. Ridvan Yilmaz is just the latest example. A technically gifted player, sure, but never quite up to the physical. Demands of Scottish football week in, week out. Injuries held him back, but even when he was fit, there was always a sense he was playing catch-up. And now, as he prepares to return to Besiktas, you get the feeling that the decision isn't just about performance, it's about profile. Martin wants power. He wants speed. He wants players who can win duels, cover ground, and bring presence to both flanks. Yilmaz, for all his touch and technique, doesn't tick those boxes. And so the club moves on. And that's the part that really matters here. This isn't just a story of who's leaving and who's staying. It's about evolution. For too long, Rangers have felt stuck in a cycle, chopping and changing managers, bringing in players with no clear strategy and hoping something clicks. But what we're seeing now feels different. There's a ruthless clarity to it. Players who were once seen as central are being evaluated with fresh eyes. No emotion, no loyalty to past regimes. Just a clear question, can you be part of this? New identity. And if the answer is no, even slightly, then the club is already looking beyond you, and it's starting to impact the dressing room. According to whispers coming out of Auchenhowie, the intensity of training sessions has gone up a level. Martin and his staff are demanding more, sharper reactions, faster transitions, and complete buy-in from every squad member. The tactical briefings are longer, more detailed, and far less forgiving. If you switch off, you're out. If you don't meet the work rate, you don't play. Simple as that. Some players are thriving under that pressure. Others, well, let's just say they're being found out. And all of this is happening in the backdrop of an incredibly demanding fixture list. With Champions League qualifiers, domestic fixtures, and a fan base that expects nothing short of a title challenge, there's no room for missteps. The Victoria-Plizen clash tonight isn't just a test of quality, it's a test of character. How this team responds could define the tone for the next few months. Because if Rangers go out there and put in another limp performance like they did against Motherwell, the noise around the club is going to get deafening. And Russell Martin knows that. That's why every decision he makes now carries weight. Every lineup, every substitution, every player pushed to the fringes, it's all being watched, analyzed, and debated by supporters who are tired of excuses. They want fight, they want identity, and above all, they want a team that represents the values of the badge. Martin's not asking for time, he's demanding standards. And in doing so, he's already proving he has the backbone for the job. But with that comes risk. Because in football, when you start shaking the tree, not everyone lands on their feet. Some players won't recover from being dropped. Some relationships in the dressing room will be tested. And if results don't improve quickly, even the most logical decisions can get spun into controversy. That's the tightrope Martin is walking. But judging by his interviews, his body language, and the conviction of his decisions, he's not afraid of the backlash. He's betting on his vision. He's betting on culture over comfort. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what Rangers have been missing. The next few weeks are going to be critical, not just for the squad, but for the club as a whole. The transfer window is still open, and that means movement is still coming. Some names we haven't even mentioned yet could be on their way out. Others who haven't played a minute under Martin could be thrust into the spotlight. The domino effect has only just begun. And let's not forget the ripple effects off the pitch. If Raskin is sold for anything close to that £20 million valuation, that changes the financial landscape of the summer. It gives the club flexibility, not just to replace him, but to invest smartly in other areas. Maybe another winger, maybe another box-to-box midfielder, maybe even a physical presence up top to offer an alternative to the current options. The pieces are moving fast. And with Martin driving the decisions, expect more surprises before deadline day. In the end, this isn't just about building a team for now. It's about setting a tone for the seasons to come. Martin doesn't want to plug gaps and hope for miracles. He wants to create a structure, a blueprint that can outlast any one player or result. And that's why every move he makes feels so deliberate. Whether it's giving a debut to Antman, pushing Yilmaz toward the exit, or throwing down the gauntlet to Raskin, there's no hesitation. He's making choices now that might not pay off tomorrow, but will build something sturdier in the long run. And fans, even the most skeptical ones, are starting to see that. They can feel the shift. They can sense that the excuses are running out, that the era of hiding behind injuries, referees, or bad luck might finally be coming to an end. Because under Martin, it's about ownership, about doing your job or losing your place. And that culture, if fully embraced, could be what finally takes Rangers from nearly men to champions again. But that journey won't be smooth. There will be losses. There will be criticism. There will be tough nights, especially in Europe. But if the vision stays clear, if Martin continues to demand more build right and hold every player to the same standard, the club will be better for it. Because Rangers don't need short-term fixes. They need a revolution. And whether fans are ready or not, it's already started. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial. For Rangers FC fans, speculation is swirling around the future of Belgian midfielder Nicolas Raskin, as whispers grow louder regarding a possible exit from Rangers FC. While no official confirmation has been released by the club or the player's entourage, sources close to Ibrox suggest that there's growing interest in Raskin's services from clubs across mainland Europe. The 23-year-old who arrived in Glasgow with high expectations has reportedly grown frustrated with his role under the current managerial regime, fueling rumors that his days in the light blue may be numbered, despite being a fan favorite. For his combative style and dynamic play in midfield, Raskin's appearances have become more sporadic in recent weeks, prompting questions about his long-term commitment. Those close to the club have noticed subtle signals, including social media activity and a lack of public commitment to the team's future ambitions, all of which suggest that Raskin might be weighing his options. Insiders say that Raskin's situation is being closely monitored by several League One clubs, with whispers of preliminary discussions already taking place between intermediaries. His background in Standard Liège and prior performances in Belgium's top flight make him an attractive prospect for French sides looking for a blend of youth, experience, and tenacity in midfield, while Rangers would be reluctant to let go of a player who still holds considerable market value. A lucrative offer in the range of $16 or $8 million could reportedly sway their decision makers. There is also talk that Raskin himself is eager to return closer to home, citing personal reasons and a desire for a fresh start in a different footballing environment. The potential of European competition and higher wages are additional factors. That might be luring him away from Ibrox, creating a perfect storm for a possible summer transfer. Though nothing is certain, the murmurs are becoming difficult to ignore. Behind the scenes, tensions may be simmering as reports of disagreements with coaching staff begin to surface, albeit quietly. While the club remains tight-lipped, those with knowledge of the training ground dynamic hint at philosophical differences between Raskin and the current management, particularly regarding tactical deployment and rotation policies. This friction, if true, could be contributing to the midfielder's apparent disenchantment, leading to his exclusion from crucial matches and a growing disconnection from the squad. Such internal strife, though not uncommon in professional football, often signals an impending separation, especially when coupled with outside interest. There's also an undercurrent of belief that Raskin's ambitions may no longer align with the club's current trajectory, particularly if the Rangers fail to secure Champions League qualification. That shortfall could prove decisive in convincing the Belgian that his future lies elsewhere, in a more competitive or stable setting that better matches his aspirations. For now, it remains a matter of conjecture, but few would be surprised if the rumor mill solidifies into reality before the window closes. Supporters are beginning to take notice, and chatter among fan forums and pub corners reflects a mixture of concern and resignation. Many recognize Raskin's talent and the potential void his departure could leave, particularly in a midfield already short on consistency. Yet others point to his apparent dip in form and question whether his heart remains in Glasgow. Some speculate that Raskin has already mentally checked out, given his body language during recent matches and a noticeable decline in urgency. Whether that's down to dissatisfaction or simply the toll of a long campaign is unclear, but it adds another layer of intrigue to the ongoing speculation. The fan base, known for its passion and loyalty, has been through similar scenarios in the past and remains divided on whether the club should cash in now or hold firm and fight to reintegrate the player. Either way, the atmosphere surrounding Raskin is palpably shifting, and with each passing day the sense grows that a parting of ways might be not only possible, but inevitable, amidst all the swirling talk and quiet negotiations. One undeniable truth remains. If Raskin is indeed on the verge of leaving Rangers, the club must act swiftly to plan for his potential replacement. The timing of such a move could be critical, especially given the tight window before European fixtures begin and the need for squad stability. The Ibrox hierarchy is said to be exploring contingency plans, with a short list of midfield targets already being compiled in anticipation of a sudden departure. Whether that list includes domestic talent or a dip back into the Belgian or French markets remains to be seen. In the meantime, the official stance remains one of business as usual, with no comment from either Raskin or the club. But in the world of football, silence often speaks volumes. As the final days of the transfer window approach, expect the rumors to intensify, the whispers to grow louder, and perhaps a significant change to unfold. If this truly marks the end of Raskin's time in Glasgow, it would close a chapter that promised much, but now feels unresolved. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.